This is Support is Sexy, episode 231, and today we're going to talk about running in the rain. Welcome to Support is Sexy. I'm your host, Elayne Fluker, entrepreneur, author, and founder of Chic Rebellion Media. 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, I interview inspiring women entrepreneurs who share their wins and their lessons to help you take your business and your life to the next level and create something sexy. Here we go. Hi, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Support is Sexy. I'm excited to have you here. You know, it just would not be the same without you. And I am excited to share with you today something that occurred to me about running in the rain. You know, I love to run, and I came up with this idea of what it means to run in the rain. So a little background. About a month and a half ago, I guess, someone reached out to me, someone being a recruiter for a big company in New York. Home for me is New York, as you all know, if you've been listening for a while. Reached out to me about an opportunity in New York with a company, a media company, a big media company that I have admired for a while and someplace that I hadn't worked with before, which is the way I consider a lot of opportunities. If it's something new or someplace I'm interested in and had never been there before, sure, I'll take a look. So this person reached out to me based on what she had seen of my experience online and the content that I've created and the places that I've worked and all that great stuff that we all have out there to show people what we've done over the past few years, the evidence of our work, right? The person reached out to me, so we connected, had a great conversation. Then she connected me with someone else in the company, spoke to that person, had a great conversation, spoke to someone else in the company, and kept going higher up and higher up. You know how that is. If you've been through the interview process and talking to people and considering opportunities, that stuff takes a while, and you go through different people and talk to them and just share what your ideas are and what you're up to. So after talking about it and considering it, and, you know, it was a lot to consider because it would mean me relocating back to New York to work on this project, even if just for a while or however long. So I had to give that a lot of thought during that time when I was thinking, well, if this works out, this is something that I'll have to do. I had conversations with friends in New York who were like, of course, you can come and be here until you find something, and was working it all through. You know, we never know what's going to happen. You don't want to get tied to any outcome one way or another. But in my mind, I was thinking, okay, well, maybe this means go back to New York for a while, figure things out there, try this project for a little bit, continue to do what I'm doing here. I always said, you know, I'm an entrepreneur through and through. I know this now. It took me years to finally accept this about myself. I'm one of those crazy entrepreneurs, just like you. But it took a while for me to accept that. And now that I do, I know that I am, no matter what, supposed to create something of my own, create something that I can offer to the world, even if I am working in some other full-time capacity, doing something else or doing this at the same time, whatever that looks like. But I am clear that I am an entrepreneur. So I had to get over that part of it of, oh, well, if I go back into doing this thing, even though it's a company that I like and it aligns with my passion for women, supporting women, that was another thing that I loved about it or love about it. It is an opportunity that really aligned with my passion of women, supporting women. And for me, my passion of creating space for women to tell their stories. So that was really the reason that I considered it. Just any other job or position, I've turned down many, honestly. And that's a blessing to be able to do that. Even through the fear, there's sometimes some fear of, oh, well, should I turn this down? This could mean this amount of dollars, that prestige, whatever else we attach to these things. But this one was one that I thought would be really good. And like I said, I worked through how I could work that out, coming back to Georgia on the weekends, going to New York during the week. Whatever it was going to look like, I was ready to make that commitment. So I've had conversations with all of these different people and, you know, going through the process and thinking things through and thinking that it's going to work out, honestly, not attached, again, to any outcome. But you get a vibe and an energy and you say, okay, yes, this feels like this is right. This is the right move to make right now. I can do this. Then today, had a conversation with the same person who reached out to me initially. Long story short, it did not work out. They deciding to go in a different direction, which happens. I've been on both sides of that. As a manager, you either make a decision to go in a different direction because of one reason or another, or as someone who has conversations with people, they decide to make a decision to go another way for whatever reason. I'm always confused that I'm not the choice, but hey, that is what it is. So I will say, though, I did go through a period, a moment of, because I thought the outcome was going to be a certain way. Again, not attached to it, so it wasn't devastation, but it was surprise because maybe there was an expectation or a feeling that this was supposed to work out this way. I'd already thought it through. I thought this came for a reason. This was going to make some things easier. Honestly, it would have been probably a significant amount of money for this project. So I thought, okay, well, I could use that. I'm always thinking about the business to reinvest into the business, or I could use that for this, or I could use that for courses and all these other things that you're thinking of how you can utilize what might be coming in at the time, how you can make things work. That's really what it is, right? Figuring out this is how this thing will help things work. So when the conversation happened that it wasn't going to work out that way, that it was clear that it wasn't going to work out that way, that it was clear too that I wasn't going to be going back to New York, at least not right now. Who knows in the future? You never know what tomorrow brings, but at least not right now. There was that part of me that was disappointed, and that part of me that was thinking, wow, I guess I really missed that part of my life of being in New York and being in media and going into the city and doing all the things that we New Yorkers do. Certain things about New York, of course, I don't miss the subway, but there are other things that I absolutely do miss that part of my life. And I wasn't going to be able to experience that again, at least not right now, or at least not through this. There's other ways to experience it, of course, but at least not through this opportunity. This one wasn't for me. So like I said, in that moment, not devastated, but definitely sort of like when you get knocked back, if you bump into someone on the street and it knocks you back on your feet, takes you by surprise, knocks you back a little bit. That was the feeling. And during the day today, I'd been planning some other things. I planned to go for a run this morning, planned to do some other things. I ended up having some calls and some other, meetings via phone, and I was going to go for a run, and then my schedule got mixed up and I had to take my mom to the doctor, and things were sort of out of sync today anyway. So at the time when I had the conversation, I still had on my outfit for running, but I had decided that I wasn't going to go for a run because I was eating lunch at the time when the call came through, and I have some other things to do for the business for the rest of the day. All of that to say, I still had on my running clothes when I had this conversation. And when I hung up, feeling the way that I did, a little bit of tightness, a little bit of stress, a little bit of disappointment, a little bit of rejection, a little bit of confusion, all of those things in that moment, I decided to go for a run. Here's the thing about running today, though. All in Atlanta, which is where I am, all day today, which happens here every other week, I feel like, there has been a tornado warning. Hail is coming, rain is coming, it's going to be terrible, take cover. And I don't mean to make light of it because there are people who are experiencing terrible weather in certain parts of the country. This is what I'm just saying about what was going on here. The news all morning was about this storm that's coming. Even though that was on the news and I didn't want to do anything that was unsafe, obviously, but I looked outside and it looked decent outside, cloudy, but decent. I decided, you know what? I'm going to go for a run, clear my head, which is what I do. Go for a run, clear my head, think this through, figure out why this may have happened, why this didn't work, what this might mean, if anything. Sometimes it doesn't mean anything. Sometimes something doesn't work just because it didn't work. But I decided to go for a run and clear my head. So, of course, tighten up my shoes, take off my jacket, go outside, get ready to go for a run through the neighborhood. And it's raining because that's how my day has been. It's raining, drizzling, not heavy rain, just drizzling. That's why I couldn't see it. There was a second where I was going to turn back around, go back inside, do my other plan of just packing my stuff, going to a cafe and working. But I knew two things. One, I wouldn't be able to concentrate because I would not have cleared my mind. And meditation, at least sitting still in that moment, wasn't going to be enough. I needed to move. Sometimes you just need to move. I go for a run. Maybe you walk. Maybe you go to the park and sit on a swing. Whatever you do, sometimes you just need to move if possible, if you're able. So I was going to turn back around and go inside. I knew I needed to move though. And I thought, what if a storm comes while I'm out here running? It's possible. What if the storm comes while I'm running? But I decided to keep going anyway because I needed to keep going. Something told me you have to keep going. You have to keep going. Even though it's starting to rain, when you're first starting out your run, you got to keep going. You got to keep going. So I did. I continued with the run through the neighborhood, running up the hill and all the ways that I go for this run that I do. Just a few miles, not too long, not as long as usual on the weekend, but kept going. And you know what? During that run, it rained in the beginning for sure while I was thinking about all of this stuff. But not to sound too woo-woo, even though I love the woo-woo. During my run, and even now as I'm recording this and looking outside during the day today, beautiful sunshine. Beautiful sunshine came out while I was on this run for 3 or so miles. Beautiful sunshine. It was raining, drizzling. I was listening to some other podcasts. The clouds slowly went away or passed over, I will say. The rain eventually stopped. Skies cleared up. Sun came out, and then it was actually too hot, but I'm not complaining. But it got super sunny. It was beautiful. It was perfect. And during that run, as I said, I was going to clear my mind, and I thought, you know what? That was a cloudy moment for me, the feeling of, why didn't this work out? What is this not, what is this telling me? What am I supposed to get from this message of this not working out? What am I supposed to be doing? The answer, of course, for me, the sunshine was, you're supposed to be focusing on Support is Sexy. Don't get distracted by shiny apple syndrome. It was a shiny apple. It probably would have been fine, but you're supposed to focus on Support is Sexy. At least that's the message that I received. Maybe it's just my way of dealing with it, but something in me said, honestly, during that run, you know what? You're supposed to focus on this thing. It's not supposed to work out. That's why that didn't work out. You're supposed to be where you are for whatever reason. And I know all of that will be revealed to me later. A lot of times we all want to figure out what's going on right in the moment. I know I'm guilty of that. Most of the time, it will come to you later. For me, though, and the reason I thought about sharing this with all of you, this long story through my day, is because a lot of times I know, again, for me, when things go wrong, or even if it doesn't start out right, think about my run, right? Or my day in general, a day that sort of felt out of sync. Nothing was wrong with it, but things were not going as scheduled, and my schedule got mixed up with me taking my mom to the doctor, and then that sort of shifted things of when I was going to go for my run. Sometimes things don't start out right. Sometimes things start out cloudy. Sometimes things may even start out with a bit of rain. You cannot turn around, though. As I've said in previous episodes, you have to keep going because you never know when the clouds are going to break and the sunshine is going to come up. So I thought about myself during that run and just the work that I'm creating with Support is Sexy. I love you guys, and I love the podcast, and I love the content that I'm creating. Love the guests. I'm obsessed with all of my guests. Love all of the things that I'm doing and what I'm building around Support is Sexy. The community, the brand, the business, the online business, the eventual courses, and all of these things that will extend from this. Thought about the fact that, too, this has actually been the best month as far as downloads or numbers, if you will, for the podcast. It's growing. I'm on target or on pace to hit my goal. I have a goal of wanting to hit 100,000 downloads within the 1 year of July 4th. I'm already just about there, pretty much. Thank you, God. Already just about there. And just thinking about during that run, look at what you're building and what you're doing outside of any kind of corporate structure, outside of any kind of media company, outside of having to wait for permission from someone else to be whatever it is that you want to be, to create whatever it is you want to create. I can always partner with someone, work with the company to do incredible things. In fact, it's something that is a part of what I want to do. As part of abundance, I believe in partnering up, collaborating, and working with people. But it doesn't have to be a traditional way. It doesn't have to be any kind of way. It can be whatever it needs to be in order to work, in order to allow space for that sun to shine. The thing is, though, think about my run. If I had turned around when it was drizzling and gone back in with my head down, feeling sad or feeling sorry for myself, and now it's raining and now I can't go for a run, I would have missed out on the opportunity to get out there, clear my head, and go for a run, even though the sun would have come out eventually. The sun came out whether I was going to run or not, just like the rain started whether I was going to run or not. The thing that you're doing, the thing that you're creating, whatever you want to do, it may start on a cloudy day. It may rain on that day, but you have to keep going. Don't let that be the thing that turns you around. If you turn around for another reason, fine. But don't let that little bit of rain, those little bit of clouds, any kind of warning of a tornado without putting yourself in danger, but any kind of warning of what might go wrong is basically what I see as the tornado. This might go wrong. This might happen. Is it happening now? If not, how can I go for this, make this thing happen, do that thing I want to do, and move toward the sunshine? How can I keep running in the rain. So that's what the idea for this episode is. Running in the rain. You have to keep running or moving or working or doing. Running is a metaphor for anything that you're doing, creating, believing in yourself through the rain. That is what I'm telling myself today. That is what I want all of you to remember. You've got to keep running through the rain. Head towards the sun, head toward the light. Got to stay focused on the light. Keep doing what you're doing. Stay focused, head down, do the work, don't give up, because there are going to be days when it's cloudy. There are going to be days when it rains, but you have to keep running through the rain. Other opportunities will come, other things will come. Be focused on your run, your way, making it happen. Focus on the light, focused on getting to the sunshine, being able to do the thing you want to do, create the thing you want to create, whatever that looks like, and getting whatever support, of course, that you need in order to make that happen. But don't turn around just because it's cloudy. Don't turn around just because people tell you you can't do it, or who do you think you are, or you'll never make it, or any other things that people do to project their own fears on you. Don't turn around for those reasons. And don't turn around just because in the beginning, maybe you didn't start it off right, or maybe you did it wrong, or maybe you failed before, or maybe you don't have the same experience that you think other people have in doing those things. Or for me, I think about the podcast. I don't have the other numbers, quote unquote, numbers that other people have, but I'm very excited that you all show up for me 5 days a week for the podcast. Even if it were 5 people, that's 5 people who aren't my mama and daddy, who listen to the show, who believe in it, and who show up for me. So whatever you're doing, don't get caught up in comparison, which is also clouds. Don't get caught up in comparison. Keep running in the rain. Keep running in the rain. All right, so thank you guys so much for listening. Again, I truly appreciate you being here. It wouldn't be the same without you, as I always say. And you know, it's funny when you go through these things where you have, like I said, these opportunities or things that you go for and it doesn't work out for whatever reason. It pays to have something that you are creating on your own, whether that's a business, a hobby, any kind of thing. Have something that you're doing on your own outside of the thing that you have to wait for permission or wait to be selected for, right? Be creating something of your own, something that means something to you, whether that's just your own family or whatever that looks like. Be doing the thing that makes you happy all the time. Try to focus on what makes you happy, what makes you feel good, what makes you feel honored, what brings you the most joy. Run in the rain. Focused on the sunshine. Run in the rain. All right, so I will talk to you all soon. Again, thank you so much for listening. And until next time, you know what to do. Go out there and create something sexy. And I'll talk to you soon. Take care.